The Shining.
The Shining.
It's a movie that I definitely try to watch. It plays in theaters usually once a year.
Yeah, I've watched it once a year every year since last year.
That's a good tradition. I'm on that. I think I'm a few years ahead of you in doing so.
Quite a few.
But it's a fun movie to rewatch. I think it's. I don't know that it's one that I necessarily pick up on a million new different things every time I watch it, though.
No.
I think there are a lot of cool details.
Yeah.
But it's not something where I don't think my viewing experience is radically different from viewing a viewing.
Okay. I mean, it's the same movie every time. So
yeah.
It can only be so different.
It's true. I think there are movies, though, where like I go back to it and it's kind of... my reaction is very different to some movies when I go back to them. And I think for a movie that I rewatch, you get desensitized to certain aspects of what it is that you're rewatching. And you either focus on new things and find new things to focus on, or you just like to refocus on things that you... Yeah. It's like, there are like complicated songs where you just like the song, it's a fun song, or there's ones where you
listen to different layers.
You notice different stuff about the song. Mm-hmm. The Shining, there's a lot to notice, but I don't know that it's in terms of like the analysis where you're like, I see what the story really was.
I think that's the point. Is there's supposed to be like red herrings all over the place,
Because it makes you uncomfortable. And it makes you, you're a little on edge.
You're not supposed to know what's going on.
But not everyone views The Shining that way.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of our theme for the show today, because people tear apart that movie. No, that's too negative. They break down all the little parts of that movie, or you could argue they build up things that maybe aren't really there in the movie into different things. And there was even a whole movie made about that.
Yeah, I watched that.
I technically watched it, but after probably about 15 minutes in, when it got to the
JFK part,
what was the JFK part?
JFK gives I can't remember his name, Jack Torrance the big dick or something like that. And
that was on the desk boner. That's exactly the point where I was like, I don't care.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm done.
He's standing in front of this I forgot what even one would be called, the award on his desk, and it looks very phallic, and it's JFK giving him the dick. And
that is exactly the part that I was going to say, but I didn't remember the JFK.
I lost it around there too. Like every theory, I think up to that one was like kind of, German typewriter. Maybe there's some Nazi stuff, and then all of a sudden it's JFK with the phallic award.
The desk boner.
Yeah,
I'm done. I'm out. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I kind of lost my attention span snapped at that point too.
I've kind of been looking since we have adaptation up on Amazon Video now.
Yeah.
When I log into Amazon Video, the first number that it shows me is just the number of minutes of the movie that have been streamed over the week.
Interesting, okay.
So I look at it and I see 600 minutes, or it's like 598 minutes of adaptation have been watched in the past week. And I'm thinking that's
like 10 times or so, if people skip the credits.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Probably turn it off. But
I watch the credits. I found that literally seeing the numbers kind of bothers me, and I think like,
it's too much info. You know too
weird.
Much now.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
You weren't supposed to know this.
I mean, because I'm very much responsible for how 600 minutes of other people's lives have now been spent.
That's half a day of human time.
Yeah, and when I just see it in a theater with people, I don't think about that. And them streaming it, I don't really think about that. But they're sitting there at their computers or however they watch stuff on Amazon, and they're spending all that time watching something that we made.
But it overlaps. It's like it's still only like an hour from each person.
I know, I'm taking that hour from these people.
Yes, no, they're letting you. They're giving you that hour in exchange for money. They're like, here, have this.
They're giving me money.
Have this hour of my life. Here's $10. It's like,
isn't that a weird responsibility though? Don't you feel it weird, kind of doing that?
You already did your part.
I know, but
you know how much time of your life that you spent making the movie? It's only fair that they give you an hour of theirs in return for it.
They don't owe
me
$10. They don't owe me money for it or time.
That's a very bad business strategy, Tom.
I know it's not. This is not the distributor part of me talking. This is the filmmaker part.
Artist.
This is the sensitive artist coming through. Because I think there's something about it that I feel guilty because of. There's not that much time, and I want to spend my time very particularly. I'm very picky about how I want to.
You know
spend
what
my
I think
time.
Would freak you out more?
What?
Seeing how many minutes of your life you spent watching movies. than seeing how many of theirs.
Well, there was a point where I really tried to watch basically everything that I thought might have any relevance to anything. I was like, I'm going to want to watch this. I want to read this. Now I'm really picky. I only want to watch very certain things.
You only have so much time left.
Yeah, it's something about, I guess, just at some point your mortality hits you a little
you're supposed
more.
To be honored. These people have given up 600 minutes of time to watch Will Forget bumble around his life.
That's a funnier concept to me than I made a story that people have devoted 600 minutes to now.
You have to imagine that this hour that they spent is better than whatever they would have been doing because it's Will Forget doing.
I don't know if that's true though.
It might be.
I'm tired of watching it. I got back literally 4 this morning because we were at the festival yesterday, and then I watched the adaptation.
Were you just shaking your head the whole time?
Just the billionth time, and it's all. The only thing that I really like about watching the movie now is seeing where because people laugh at different spots almost every time, and B, where do people decide is a good time to go to the bathroom during it?
Oh, okay.
I find that fascinating.
That's such a hard thing to guess, though, when you go to see a movie, because you might be going during a boring part, but every time there's a boring part, there's a spike right after that, to make up for the boringness.
And
so,
adaptation is deceptively.
Oh, it is.
It's like you don't know. It's deceptively cohesive. You don't really know when anything important is happening at all until
you have to actually put it together if you want to understand why he's going from place to place.
Yes,
it's kind of I need to go do this now, but there's not it's not really out there.
So I'm sitting there. Ben and I are sitting there where we're looking. When do they think they can go to the bathroom? Oh, that's interesting. Because the movie.
It was all old people too. So they're probably getting that back and forth a lot.
There was some old guy in the front row laughed so hard the whole movie.
Great.
Well, it's one of these these big he probably talks really loud, and he's probably someone that if I was sitting next to him and just his breathing would probably irritate me because I bet he's just really loud, and because you get old and you don't notice how loud your body becomes. I think
everything else gets quieter, so you get louder,
right?
To make up for it.
But anytime anything mildly amusing happened, it'd just be this big. It was the weirdest.
That's awesome
experience for me.
I can't believe I wasn't there. It's a shame.
But adaptation to me is not a movie. I think it's a movie where you can, like you said, you can put it together a little bit and figure some of that stuff out. It's not a movie I think that I could watch that much, or that anybody really should watch over and over and over and over again.
No. I don't know. I think you should watch it at least twice.
Twice is fine.
It's the minimum, I think.
I've seen it so many times now, though. I'm so sick
I
of
have
it.
too.
Yeah, you're probably sick of it too.
Yeah, we've sat down and watched it so many times. I think it was better giving it that time after all of our working on it and the 3 premiere screenings and whatnot to actually sit back for a little bit and then watch it again.
Give me 3 years and I can watch it again.
Oh, sure, yeah. You could probably watch almost a weekend now and enjoy that one a little bit.
I don't want to watch that one again. Yeah, so at some point.
Yeah,
but so I mean, we're obviously not Kubrick, and Kubrick commands much more attention.
He crams those details in there.
Yes.
We
don't have the money or resources or even probably brains to do what he's.
We've got a lot of those. Was that it? Yep, we got it. And then,
there were various set problems that I don't know that Kubrick had to deal with. Kubrick directing Will Forget is a fantasy that I'll never be able to see, but I'd love to watch.
Yeah.
400 takes.
How is Will, by the way? Did he survive the hurricane?
That's a good question.
Is he going to wash up on the shore at some point?
You've thought that regardless of whether there's a hurricane.
Well, I realize that it could happen now, and none of us would even know.
I don't know either.
Hostel.
I'll let you know if I hear anything. But we should go to our first break.
Okay.
We'll come back. Chris is going to run through the box office numbers.
Yep.
We're going to go through a couple little news things, and then we've got a pretty long correspondent piece from our contributors Abe and Stefan, who were talking about The Shining and specifically room 237.
Okay.
So we have a break right now, and we'll be right back for Quad 2.
Quad 2.
Today's show is brought to you by the Movies and Stuff YouTube channel, run by movie lovers Dan and Abe, who chat about the films they love and are often joined by actors, writers, and other people involved in making those movies. They've got a couple recent interviews with people like Andrew Kevin Walker, Robert Engels, and Nicholas Winding Refn. You can watch their live-streamed interviews, reviews, roundtables, and panel debates every week by heading over to youtube.com/moviesandstuff. Subscribe today. Quad 2, what do we got?
Quad 2.
Quad 2, what do you do? How do you do?
Number 1 for Quad 2, we've got The Girl on the Train. They made $24.6 million.
And what's the budget on that?
$45 million.
$45 million, so they spent a little bit of money.
Yeah, but this is just the first weekend, right? This is opening weekend.
Yeah, and that will make money. $24 million, that's a good start.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Fine. Number 2 is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. They made another $15 million, brings them to 51 total.
What, down 50%?
Yeah, that's 48. That's what it says here.
Yeah, that's going to struggle to make a profit, I think, unless it does really well overseas.
Yeah, which it might. Over yonder.
Except for with Dark Shadows, which was...
Well, that was a pretty...
That was his best one.
You'd think maybe that would be good in, like, England, in, like, the U.S., and that'd be about it, and then everywhere else would be like, what the hell is this, you know?
You know, I don't know. If Alice in Wonderland can make $1 billion, Dark Shadows should make...
Alice in Wonderland was a special effects-driven 3D, just kind of, ooh, look at the pretty pictures kind of movie, you know? Number 3 is Deepwater Horizon. They made another $11.7 million. They're still way behind with only $38 million total.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Goodbye, profit.
Poor Marky Mark.
Marky Mark and Peter Berg have teamed up again for a Boston Marathon movie. That's the new true life disaster starring Marky Mark.
It's not a real tragedy unless we make movies based off it, right?
Yeah,
a year or two later? If that even?
That might be a little more than that.
It had to just be like last year. That
wasn't that long
so
ago.
recent.
I like the research that needs to be done to make this show work is, when did the Boston Marathon happen? The bombing.
2013 already? What the heck?
3 years.
3
Yeah.
years?
A little more than you said.
I could have sworn that was just like, I don't even know. Wow.
Well, you know, they're happening all the time.
I know.
There'll be other
They're all
ones.
starting to like merge together in my brain. That's so bad.
The flag will never be all the way up again.
Yeah,
I don't think.
They should just put another flag on there to keep.
There's
a half flag on the bottom and the big flag up top.
Just so you know, like, there's always something wrong,
right,
but there's let's be happy too.
Number 4, we've got Magnificent Seven still hanging in there. They made $9 million. They didn't reach their budget either. They got $75 million total.
That's doing okay though.
Yeah, I mean that's
that with foreign. What's the foreign on that?
Oh, let's find out. But so you don't make a movie like that and hope to break even.
No, you don't. But
they made $58 million for him.
So
that's all right.
It'll break even probably.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it's already above. It's got 134.
Well, no, because it's got to make 180 million before they'd make back 90 million.
Oh, you got to make double.
Yeah, because the theater splits.
Oh, I figured that took
about
that
half.
into account.
Nope.
No. Okay. Wow.
That's how they get you, because they make everything look profitable, and they can also, because it's tricky, they can be like, nothing ever made money, so we never have to pay people royalties.
Yeah. No one makes money here. Why do you? Number 5, you got Storks.
Sticking around just because there's no other kids' movies out, I assume.
Well, there's nothing really else out. We had 3 movies come out this weekend, I think. Yeah, it was That Girl on Train. Birth of a Nation's at number 6. They just opened this weekend. They made $7.1 million.
Now, the interesting thing there is I believe Fox Searchlight paid $20 million to distribute that movie.
Huh.
So they were expecting a little more than $7 million opening weekend, is my guess. And a lot of that, I think, is Nate Parker has he's got a little bit of baggage from his past that is coming into that.
Really? What's that? I don't even know.
I don't know the whole story, and I think we might do a future episode about separating art from the artist and whether that's valid and whether it's not. So we'll keep that.
Yeah,
talk more about that so after I can research it and not just come off like I kind of know, but I'm
gossiping.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to gossip about Nate Parker. Let's just do a whole show on him. Well, not just on him, but all of them.
As a concept.
Everyone. Let's gossip for an hour if we're going to gossip about Nate Parker.
And devote a whole episode to it. Number 7, we got another new opening this weekend called Middle School, The Worst Years of My Life.
I still have no idea what that is. I've never seen anything for it.
I looked up the director, but I already forgot who it was.
Is it someone notable?
It is. It's someone you would know. Who was it? Steve Carr. What did this guy do?
He did
all these terrible movies.
Mall Cop. Are we done yet?
Movie
Rebound,
43.
Daddy Daycare. That, yeah.
I think Daddy Daycare was kind of funny, but I mean, I was probably just younger at the time.
All right. Well,
nothing really good from that guy. But number 8, Sully.
Sticking in there.
Still here.
Making money.
A lot of money. $113 million. It's a pretty good chunk of money.
God, what is it that makes people go to something like that?
I told you, it's Tom Hanks. Everybody knows it's Tom Hanks. I don't think Tom Hanks has ever been in a movie that didn't make $100 million.
That might be true. I don't. Well,
I mean, it's
current level Tom Hanks, current iteration of Tom Hanks
from Forrest Gump on.
I'm trying to think of an obvious example to be like, no,
Polar Express. No, I mean, probably made a bunch too.
Yeah, I don't know.
CG Tom Hanks counts. Number 9, Masterminds is still here.
Dropping.
Somehow. Dropping terribly. I don't even know how to say it. Is it Queen of Katwe?
I believe so.
Yeah, they're number 10. Which, they made $5 million total.
So they're kind of hoping that'll be a sleeper hit, looks like to me. $15 million budget, that's not bad. It might make a little money.
Yeah.
if it sticks
It's
around.
the chess movie, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
African chess.
See, I think it's hard to make people get into a movie about chess, though.
Yeah, because I think the last one was that Bobby Fischer movie that starred Tobey Maguire. It's like something Pawn.
I don't even know.
Pawn Sacrifice, I think it was called.
Interesting.
How much did that make? You should look that up.
Pawn Sacrifice?
Pawn Sacrifice. What I remember mostly about that movie is I remember I had seen a few movies and the trailer played in front of it, and you had Tobey Maguire as sensitive Bobby Fischer.
Oh, this came out like last year.
Looking at so he's going to Liev Schreiber, and he's being mad because he's going up against the Russian chess player.
Oh, so it's like Rocky.
It's Rocky, but it's chess Rocky.
It's Toby McRocky.
But so the funniest part of the trailer was basically like they both ended up at the beach at the same time separately, and Tobey Maguire's screaming at him, at the Russian guy on the beach, "I'm gonna get you!"
That sounds awesome.
I know it looked kind of funny, but it's not a comedy. It was a serious looking movie. It's something where the Americans are using Bobby Fischer. I don't even know if it's Bobby Fischer. I think Bobby Fischer was the chess guy.
I don't see a cast list for some reason.
Maybe I just made that up.
Peter Sarsgaard? Liev Schreiber?
Yeah.
I think it might be Liev.
I thought it was Liev.
I don't know.
No, those are the actors. That's not the... Bobby Fischer would be the character that he's playing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was I was like, okay.
And so anyway, it's something where they have to use him to be also a spy, to spy on the Russians, but he's there to play chess. So
steal the Russian chess.
It was just the weirdest combination of everything going on in that trailer.
Interesting.
I didn't even know what to think. But it didn't. That Queen of Katwe has already made significantly more money. Well, maybe not.
I mean, I don't know if it made more money, but I mean, it made money.
It is already outgrossed. No, it didn't.
Never mind.
Well, we don't have any foreign at all, though. It'll make a little bit foreign, so
okay.
They'll be better off than Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire really fell off the face of the earth, I think.
He did. Well, I mean, even after like Spider-Man, he fell off the earth.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything.
I mean,
yeah, I can't really think of much he's been in. Maybe like a few like chick flick type things, just kind of like random ass roles.
Was he even in any? I don't know. Like this is.
I gotta find out now. Oh my god!
You just can't spell it. The problem with Box Office Mojo is they just don't. It's not. They don't have a search. I think it's MAC. G. No, I give up. We'll figure out Tobey Maguire.
No one knows how to spell this damn man's name.
That's the weirdest digression.
Okay.
So
we're gonna go to the news.
Yeah. What do we got? You said something about Blade Runner.
Yeah, there's some Blade Runner news on the news field.
Blade Runner 2 is now called Blade Runner 2049.
It is.
That seems a little weird.
It takes place in the year 2049.
I guess it's better than Blade Runner 2. It's just a little jarring to my mind.
Two Runner.
Yeah, how about that?
But no, the other big news to come out of that is it's not just going to be shown in theaters.
Oh, I think I might have heard a little bit. There's some kind of virtual reality.
Yeah, it's going to be a virtual reality film.
Explain that to me.
It's you wear a headset, and as far as you can like look around. It's like a 360 movie.
So you can see the crew. And
you look behind you, and the guy's like, he's like, no. He's like, tells you to go look the other way. He's like, no, the movie's that way.
Yeah. You can look
at the guy comes up with a slate.
You can see Lucas as he swirls off frame after he does the clapper.
Scene 1, take 2A. And then,
okay.
He takes off. Yeah, it's going to be available in full-on, virtual reality, I guess, which sounds interesting.
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
We'll see how that pans out.
I'm not sure if that's necessarily the movie to do it with.
An immersive world. Avatar seems probably the obvious one to do it because the whole movie exists purely to show off technology.
They'll finish Avatar 2, then they'll reshoot it all in virtual reality. And then, I guess it's all CG, so you probably don't even have to
you do whatever you want.
Anything.
It's just like a video game.
Yeah, it's all CG'd around you.
You're just turning it all. So movies and video games are going to be all.
Well,
combined.
they use like a 360 camera.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that's just going to make it so
on
much
a film set, though, you're going to see half of that's just going to be all the crew members, and half of it's.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they'll fill it in. They probably film it twice. They have a front half and a back half or something like that. They film both sides, and then. But still, yeah, it'll be interesting to see that. I might go for the VR option just to see how it goes.
Is that going to be available just like in theaters? We can go see.
I think so. That's what it sounds like. I don't think they announced yet if it's going to be like side by side, or if it's going to be like it'll just be released, like like a DVD, Blu-ray. You can buy a VR copy.
How does that work?
You can just download it, like from I don't know. I'd assume it'll probably just be an option for digital download.
Okay. Well, I'm intrigued. We'll have to figure that out.
It's definitely interesting. I think it's like the first major film to have.
I think so.
Yeah, to have a virtual reality.
I've got a story here.
Really?
Steven Spielberg and DreamWorks pulled the plug on an underrated horror movie called Haunted that they were making.
Hey.
It was going to be produced by Spielberg and directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo. And so Spielberg fired him and scrapped the whole movie.
Oh.
So
it was that bad.
It was under the radar. Okay. They didn't even tell anyone they were making it. And now Spielberg's like, "You're fired. We're not even going to make it." And it was written. Yeah. It was written by the
you
people
and
who
your
made
movie
The Conjuring.
are fired.
So,
that's okay. Yeah, they can cancel whatever they want.
But it's based on The Turn of the Screw, which is basically. Did you ever see that movie, The Others? I think it's called. With Nicole
I actually
Kidman?
just watched that recently. Yeah,
I feel like that was kind of The Turn of the Screw.
Okay.
Anyway, so maybe that's good. Did you like that one?
It was okay.
I remember I liked it, but it was I saw it when it was, I think, kind of new.
See, I just watched it recently, and I don't know. I thought it was interesting. It has a weird atmosphere to it. Like it's very. I don't know how to put it really. Like it seems like overacted, kind of in a weird way.
But it's that period kind of.
But yeah, it's like that Crimson Peak style, kind of like overly old timey kind of a thing. And
Speaking of Crimson Peak,
yes,
we got a little word from Ron Perlman on the state of Hellboy 3, which I know the whole world has been waiting with bated breath for.
I figured Hellboy 2 was just it, and then that was it, but.
Well, apparently Hellboy 3 had big plans for the twins, so that's what the headlines have said before.
Wait, the twins died, didn't they?
No, she's pregnant with twins at the end of Hellboy 2.
Oh, those twins. Okay, I was thinking about the brother and sister stab each other or something like that.
And then so Hellboy 3 is probably not going to happen according to Ron Perlman. So everybody can cry about that. I don't like those movies. I
thought you liked the second one for some reason.
It's all right.
Yeah, okay, maybe that's all I remember. You saying
the
movie's all right is all right. It's like that's like most people's good. It's all right.
It's true.
I don't know. He's probably devoting all of his time to being in Pacific Rim too.
No, he got booted from that.
What the hell?
Somebody else took over that.
No.
So he is doing.
Wait, Guillermo or Ronnie?
Guillermo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Ronnie, I think is
Ronnie
probably
will probably be in it. Yeah,
I assume. Guillermo, he got kicked out of that one though.
That's such a shame. What's even the point?
Did you even like Pacific Rim?
I liked it with Guillermo in it.
No, you didn't.
I thought it was fun.
Nobody liked.
Everybody
Pacific Rim.
loved Pacific Rim. What are you
that
talking
was
about?
Terrible.
It wasn't supposed to be good.
You know what I liked?
It's a silly movie with people punching.
I thought
dinosaurs.
The scene where the Asian lady, when she was a kid, and she's running, and the city's all destroyed. That was a cool scene.
Okay.
I didn't like the rest of the movie. I was like, that one scene, I was kind of like, oh, okay. That's
have you heard about? There's an Anne Hathaway movie with a giant monster in it.
I've heard that everyone hates it, whatever it is.
Okay,
I don't know.
I must have read the one good review.
Oh, really?
I read this really glowing review of how great it is and having a romantic comedy with giant monsters involved and how silly it was.
I'm kind of intrigued by the concept.
Yeah. It sounded interesting, and then I guess it might have been bad, but whatever, I haven't seen it, so I can't. I think
we established the only horror movie coming out this month is Ouija 2.
Ouija 2. Yeah,
Ouija 2.
Yeah.
Ouija 2.
Yeah, we've got nothing. I don't even see many horror movies in general, unless Hacksaw Ridge is a horror movie. But even
that's a war movie.
Yeah,
Mel Gibson war movie.
Mel Gibson.
And interestingly, we've got a Jack Reacher movie, and we've got the new Robert Langdon movie in place of a horror movie. And this is this kind of reinforces what I would probably see if I see any movies in theaters that are horror movies. That's going to be the retro ones.
It's going to be The Shining, yeah.
It's going to be The Shining. It's going to be some of these other ones.
The Alamo has a great lineup for this year. All their just Halloween movies in general.
I haven't looked.
They're playing The Fly. There's a few other stuff going on.
A few other stuff.
A few other things.
The Shining. So it's time we should probably get into our main segment for today.
Yes.
Which is,
I forgot we had a main segment.
People watch The Shining over and over and over again. Some people watch it because they like it. Some people watch it because they have to figure it out.
Yes. And people like to figure things out. I think it's just
yes. And I would argue that there's a reason why Kubrick made that movie the way he made it, but I'm not going to get into that too much right now because we've got this big discussion on it.
Yeah, we have correspondents, and you have to listen to them first.
Yes, listen to them because they've thought this through. They had an outline a little bit more than probably we did.
Yeah, we just make it up as we go.
But I'm going to start actually with a little quote from Kubrick himself, the man himself.
He has quotes.
It's really, really tough to find an interview of him talking about The Shining. Let me tell you that.
You'd think you'd hear more about it just with it being such a big film.
It's terrible audio.
I never even realized I've never heard him talk. I don't think.
Oh, you'll hear him. You just wait.
Interesting.
This is Stanley Kubrick talking about The Shining. I apologize for the poor audio quality. I looked all over the internet. There is not a better recording of it out there or a better interview where he says the same thing. So here he is, the man himself, the big cube.
The big cheese.
Well, obviously, in this type of story, you are in an area where not only intellectual
exploration stop. But I mean, you're in an area where no one's even sure whether it's true, let alone how can you explain it. You know, if you, from a dramatic point of view, just accept saying it's true, you can't go much further than that. If it was true, how would it happen? It's going into areas where reason is of no great help. I mean, reason doesn't help you. You're in an area where, as I say, it's more like music, than rational thought. There are areas where rationality can take you up to the border, and from there on it's poetical or musical or imaginative. I think with this type of story, if you try to be verbally analytical, it becomes slightly ridiculous. Either you make too much of it, or you reduce it to some sort of ultra-clear absurdity. I think the musical or poetic sort of manipulation of the material is the most important thing. Did we ever talk about Freud's essay on the uncanny? No. He made an interesting point. He said that the uncanny, is the only emotion, or the only feeling, which for most people is more powerfully experienced in art or literature than in life. Perhaps justification of the genre, for whatever value it is. It is an interesting point. Obviously, our ability to get into the most profound questions, which we realize how rationalism takes you so far. You don't really feel it's far enough. Now, maybe going into it in a poetical or a musical sense isn't of any great value, but it's certainly a temptation to do it. But I mean, there's always a danger that people will always misinterpret it. Most things really are people, you simply take from it what they already believe. I wonder what percent of people ever actually encounter work of art and it changes them view that they have. Maybe if they're 15 or 16 years old.
All right, so Stefan, you wanted to talk Room 237. What about this documentary made you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I was thinking about if The Shining could be the one most overanalyzed and overinterpreted films of all time. In terms of symbolism and themes and whatever. I mean, maybe we should, for the people who haven't seen it, I think the official IMDb description is an exploration of various interpretations of Stanley Kubrick's horror film The Shining from 1980. So it's just several people talking from the off about their interpretations, what is going on, what are the themes, what is symbolism in The Shining. And yeah, that's practically it. It's like 4 to 5 different people, and they go into depth what they think The Shining is really about, or what are the undercurrents of this movie. Yes.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
If I recall, go ahead.
I have seen it in bits and pieces before, but I have never seen the whole movie. I just saw a few clips, and there was already something about it that didn't want to make me see the movie. But so I thought, get over yourself, and so I watched this movie. It sadly just confirmed my suspicions. So in short, I didn't like it. You have seen it too, right?
Yeah, I did see it. And you had the same reaction that Stephen King had. He didn't make it through the whole thing either. He turned it off.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, yes. I just saw that Stephen King was not a fan either.
I like this thought that Stephen King would be in the movie and he hates it and he doesn't want to sit through it, and if he's in theaters, he wants to shut it all down.
Turn the damn thing off.
Turn it off.
Get that projector out of here.
I will pay. I'll refund everybody's ticket here. We're going to shut this thing down. This isn't worth it. It's a waste of time.
Never speak of it again.
Give me all the copies. I'm going to get rid of it. He is the authority. He is the person that can say that.
Well, it's his book.
It's his book. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be weird too if you wrote it.
Oh, can you imagine being so excited for this movie that they're making off this book, and then you go and you see it and you just hate it?
Or then Room 237 gets made, and you're just like, no, I don't think so.
These guys are all wrong. Didn't they read the book? And it's like...
Anyway, so we're going to take our another break right here before we come back to that discussion with more Stefan and Abe. So stay tuned.
We are brought to you today by the Supernauts, pop culture's junk drawer. Head on over to thesupernauts.com for the latest movie news, editorials, reviews, podcasts, and comic strips like Studio Head. Debate, discuss, geek out. Head on over today.
This was too much. This was simply too much reading into every little single thing possible. And the premise of the movie, the documentary, it's a little bit flawed, I think. You could describe it as one man's justification for why he should like this movie, and it's all the hidden symbolism and the.
I think this is a very interesting point I wanted to talk about.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Because we when we talked before about this, we asked ourselves, why is it this movie that gets this reaction, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's not as if Kubrick's movie were devoid of symbolism or something, yeah. But this is extremely overinterpreted, and I think it's because first it's his lowest rated movie. This hooks in what you said about this guy trying to convince himself why this is a precious movie, yeah. Mm-hmm. And maybe also because it's his most straightforward movie. If you get my drift.
You think so?
Only in comparison. I don't say there are no undercurrents or something. That's not true, yeah. Mm-hmm. But at the core, maybe I'm going into depth about that later. It's a pretty straightforward horror, yes.
Okay, yes. Yes.
I think this maybe horror is still a bit of the genre that isn't too appreciated among cinephiles, or could you say?
Especially at this time.
I think it's like this, yeah. And I think at points it sounds like a justification why Kubrick lowered himself to make a horror movie, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. They really jumped through hoops. Like, Kubrick was so bored that he decided to...
Oh, yeah. This was an awful moment.
Yeah, yes. Take this mundane genre of horror and decide he's going to make a completely different kind of movie that no one ever has done before or since. Which
isn't true in itself.
No.
For starters. Well, yeah. I mean, it's maybe one of the best of this kind, or maybe the best, if you want to. You could argue it's one of the best haunted house movies out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's not that he revolutionized the genre. Or there was no precedent or something.
Yeah, but the idea was that he packed this movie full of symbolism, and that's what had never been done before or since. Let's
talk about which symbolism do you think, what were the best theories and what were the worst theories?
Okay. Do you want me to start?
Whatever, yeah.
The best one is the Native American. I think that's the one that probably holds the most water. Mm-hmm. I mean, they come right out and specifically say it, built on an Indian burial ground. The hotel literally is just full of Native American artwork and design, and I don't know. Maybe they made Shelley Duvall look a little. They definitely changed Wendy's description. The description of her from the book is much different than the movie. Mm-hmm. So maybe there was something going on there. I mean, cigarettes too. There's a lot of cigarettes going on there. Tobacco, America, Indians.
Mm. I agree with you. I think that's the best one. Mm-hmm. And it also makes total sense in the context, yes, because it's on a burial ground. That was already an element in the book.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah, that's taken from the book. Yeah, this is also something I don't think as many people say that Kubrick really hated the book. Did he ever officially claim that? Many people suspected, yeah.
I never saw him on the record saying that when I was searching.
Because I don't think so. I think he might have changed some details he didn't like, but that's Kubrick, Yeah. And but I don't think he disliked that. I think he picked up many themes from the book, and even some of the stuff, he symbolism, some of the way King describes things are reflected in the movie, like things coming alive in the eye of the beholder. I mean, Kubrick did it more subtly. It didn't really move, but it's like every item has its own life, and so that he picked it up, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I agree that the Indian background is the best theory. The worst might be the moon landing, of course.
Yeah, it's bad. It's so bad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and it's really dumb.
Yeah, I mean, well, with the Indian idea, the Indian Holocaust, basically, you don't have to subscribe to an entire insane conspiracy theory to embrace it. You have to accept that the fact that no human has ever been to the moon to accept this whole interpretation of that.
Yes, yeah. And also it makes sense, the Indian, but as we said, it makes sense in the context of the story, yes?
Absolutely.
And the whole moon thing, that's just free. I mean, the only thing I could believe is that when the conspiracy came up that Kubrick filmed the moon landing, I don't know. How old is that theory?
Wow, I don't know when it started, but...
I could think that Rick made fun of some people with the sweater the kid is wearing. Maybe it's the only, but maybe even this theory is inspired by the movie. I don't know. Actually, it's moronic. Yeah, it's absolutely moronic. Yeah, it's especially funny as he says, the situation Kubrick had with his wife is reflected in the movie. That the way Torrance talks to his wife, don't stand me, what I have to do. It's reflecting Kubrick when he had to keep a secret that he filmed the moon landing.
Oh, right.
I mean, that's really...
I couldn't get behind that at all. No.
Yeah, no. Also, one thing, I think one of the most stupid things, second stupid thing in the movie was when they overlaid the movie with a version that was played backwards. To prove that this movie was perfectly symmetrical. I think that's complete nonsense. I think you can't plan a movie like that first. Not even Kubrick.
No.
I don't know if he intended to. The next thing is, I think Kubrick just had fascination with symmetrical images and with very suggestive images. And I think and every director who does that, you could make the experiment with any movie of any other director who works with suggestive imagery, and he had the same effect. You know what I mean? It's just coincidence. Of course, there's a different mood going on, a different context if you
right.
one suggestive image with another one. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. So what we're seeing,
absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean?
You're saying they're mistaking Kubrick's style for symbolism.
Yes, I think so. First that, and second, yeah. As I said, it's just coincidence.
It's what he likes.
I mean, one very impressive image laid over another. Of course, it has a different meaning. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's so dumb. And the best thing is, in the end, he says, and then the beginning becomes the end again. Oh, great. The circle is closed. That happens with every movie. You do the same thing. You know what I mean?
Oh my God! Yeah,
it's so stupid. It's really stupid. Yeah, and that's another point. I think that I don't think they could accept that many choices Kubrick made were maybe solely from an aesthetic standpoint. I think.
No, I would agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's this one scene. There's some dissolve and over the hotel to the hall inside, and then there's the ladder that is matching with the triangular shape of the front of the hotel. Yes.
Okay.
I think that could be intentional. And in the same image, you can see people are dissolving into suitcases. Yeah. And I think, and they say this is a symbol for the Holocaust. Yes.
It takes such a leap of faith on your part to accept their interpretations. I mean, once you start picking anything apart, you're going to just go down the rabbit hole, and you're never going to come back. I mean,
it's funny. Someone in the documentary said the movie is like a Rorschach test, and that's exactly what it is. You can interpret anything if you really want to. And another thing that really annoyed me about this movie, they're often starting with something, with some theories, and they end nowhere. So he says, look in the hallway, the hallway scene, there's so many symbolism, and look at this guy behind her. Why is he only carrying one chair, and blah blah. Yes. And he never comes to a conclusion.
No,
it's just, and the typewriter changes the color. They never say what's the interpretation of that. Yes.
No, they don't.
What's the point of that? They just say they say it very ominously, that the typewriter changes color, but we don't know what to get of that. Yes, from that.
Did the paper tray on the desk turning into a huge erection? Did that go anywhere?
I think this is the second dumbest. This is the second dumbest thing. I changed my opinion. This is really when maybe a description for people who haven't seen it. He's into the office, and his boss is coming around the around the desk, and then the paper tray is so lined up that it looks like because it's a similar color of his pants, so you can see an erection if you pause the image the movie at the right moment. Yes, this is just, I think, because where is the meaning there?
Yeah,
the guy was completely fixated on sexual subtext. Yeah,
I think we know,
which is saying something about the guy,
right.
not about the movie.
It is a Rorschach test.
Yeah. Then there's also this guy who said he can see a photoshopped face in the clouds, a photoshopped face of Kubrick. I tried to see it. I cannot see it. Did you see it?
No, I couldn't see it either.
I mean, total bullshit. Yeah. And there's also misinterpretation. I think there's one scene, and they say that was a scene to taunt, to make fun of King, when Scatman John is returning to the hotel, and he sees a crashed Beetle. Yes. And the Beetle has the color the Beetle has in the book, and Kubrick changed the color to yellow, from red to yellow, for the one Torrance is writing, and later we see the crashed Beetle is red as the one in the book, and it was like, and they said, yeah, that's like Kubrick saying to King, yeah, fuck your book or something, you know, you know what I mean, making fun of him. And actually, I think there is some symbolism. The symbolism is just that the car symbolizes the family, and of course it makes sense. He's there, and he knows that the family is in danger because now the car is red and not yellow, and it's crashed. You know,
right? Yeah, yellow means caution, red means danger. Yeah,
yeah,
not entirely.
I think so.
Yeah, not.
I think that would, maybe that's wrong too, but that would make more sense, right? I think
what is
some foreboding? Yes.
What is the Beetle represent to King? Why would that be making fun specifically of King, or is it just changing the book? Just changing the book for no reason. Their
theory was that he changed. That was an obvious change to say what he thinks of the book. You know what I mean?
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah. The original room was 217 in the book, and he changed it to 237. And the color of the Beetle, yes.
Yeah.
Well, so when the original Beetle turns up, he says, "Oh, yeah, I crushed it. You know, you crushed your symbolically. I crushed your source material." But as I said, I think that's nonsense. Yeah.
Well, he also didn't burn down the Overlook.
Yeah. But I think, maybe that's fantastic. Maybe that was too. I think he went for a more subtle ending. I mean, he did change things, but why? How do we know that to his liking? But how do we know he has contempt for a king?
Yeah, I don't get it. I know other people have said
nonsense.
that.
Yeah. It's maybe some things were not to his taste, but that doesn't mean he has contempt for King. Another possibility would be that the budget didn't suffice for burning down a hotel. We don't know.
We don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, might be expensive, right?
Well, in Kubrick, you can only film a massive set burning down once.
Yeah.
Kubrick wouldn't be happy about filming something once.
Yes.
He wouldn't like the flames or the smoke, or he'd have to film it 400 times.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and maybe another question is, one question I want to pose in the end, maybe it's a more general question to how important, let's assume there is some symbolism, how important is symbolism for the understanding of a movie, or how important is this for the enjoyment or for the understanding of the movie?
Are we talking just basic symbolism? I mean, how
symbolism like this? Yeah, we take this as an example. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We should say, if you don't get the symbolism, let's assume the Indian symbolism is intended. Yes. Would you assume if somebody doesn't notice this, he doesn't get the movie? Or do you think if he gets it, she gets it? Is it do you get the deeper understanding or a deeper enjoyment? Or do you think it's overemphasized in the analysis? Is this kind of thing overanalyzed? I don't know. Overemphasized?
Absolutely. I think when you start to overanalyze it, you lose sight of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Kubrick, you're right, trying to make a haunted house movie or your family's more dangerous to you than than a monster kind of film. And when you start saying, no, this is really about the moon landing, how can you say you appreciate the movie or enjoy the movie?
Yeah, it's true.
You've totally lost.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you've lost perspective completely. Whether or not Kubrick put that in there as an inside joke, that wasn't his intent on a larger scale. A larger scale was to make a horror film. He wanted to scare people.
Yeah, one thing is about this is of all his theories, yes? Let's assume some of them are true, yeah?
Okay.
How relevant are they? I mean, I think there is a different kind of symbolism. Some movies use it. If you look at it, it's kind of the symbolism is often just supporting the story. It's kind of the same story told in different means. Yes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
In this kind, I think it's just additional symbolism. You know what I mean? I think at the core, it's a story about this family. Yes.
Yes.
Or whatever you want to see in that. As you see, if family is dangerous or whatever. You can interpret it anyway. And the native Indian angle isn't reflected in the story, right?
Right.
Nor does the native Indian angle reflect the story of the family. It's just an additional subtext, yes?
Yes, right. It's just layering.
There are other movies, I can't come up with an example, of course, but that where the subtext is kind of the same story as paints a bigger picture. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You maybe can conclude that the small story is actually symbolizing the bigger story.
Right.
Yeah, there was a movie I was recently watching about a serial killer in France during the Nazi occupation,
mm-hmm.
and the thing was he was killing Jewish refugees. He said he offered to smuggle them out of country,
Mm-hmm.
But in fact, he was killing them and taking the money. And the symbolism was he was doing in miniature what the Nazis were doing in the big, the grand scale. Yes,
Yes, of course.
This would be the kind of symbolism that reflects the core theme. Yes,
I gotcha.
While this kind of symbolism, like Native Indians, I think that's a nice bonus, but it's not essential. It's a very playful symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
And in this movie, it was it's more like Kubrick is an intellectual who packed the movie full. He packed his movies full of that stuff, And I don't think it was. In this case, maybe it wasn't really essential for the movie, for the big story. But in this documentary, they presented it as totally essential, and that's the true meaning and whatever. And Shining tells the story of the whole world and the whole history, somebody said or something,
Right. No, I'm with you on that.
And I have another question that is maybe a little provocative. Maybe it doesn't really apply to Kubrick, but other directors. Do you really make a better movie if you enrich your movie with symbolism? Does it make it really make the movie better? Or end it up in pretentiousness? Pure and simple.
Man, that's a good question. I hadn't thought about that. I think yes, you can enrich the movie. I think it does enrich the movie, but if your symbolism is designed to have an impact on the audience that is enhancing your overall theme or message that you're putting through the movie, I think that works.
Mm-hmm. But if, let's say, the movie is actually rather lousy, do you think it's like symbolism is like a little bit the excuse, like, yeah, because you didn't get that?
Oh, absolutely, that you can go down that path.
I mean, we talked about the Neon Demon a few months ago.
Oh, yes.
Which I partly enjoyed it, we talked about it, but which might go down that path a little. Would you agree?
Oh, no, I would totally agree. The Neon Demon is probably top of the list as far as... I think with Kubrick,
yes,
compared to Refn, Kubrick knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was shooting for. And he's, like just throwaway lines about this being built on Indian burial ground in The Shining isn't necessary. I mean, it might be there to help support the Indian Holocaust. But it's also there just to put the idea that this place is not right in the audience's mind. It enhances the horror story. It enhances the microcosm of the Indian Holocaust and the symbolism there. Refn doesn't have a firm idea of what he's doing. He throws symbolism in there, but it never quite works. It just comes across as pretentious eye candy.
I think Kubrick was really like, I want to make a horror movie. At least in my eyes, Shining reflects that very well. I mean, it works as a horror movie.
Okay, so here's my bigger question.
Yes.
The premise of this is Kubrick was bored during Barry Lyndon. He wasn't really feeling it anymore. So he tried to reinvigorate himself by making a movie full of symbols.
I got to interrupt there because Abe just doesn't like Abe's inability to understand the intricacies of the symbolism and depth of Barry Lyndon should have no bearing in our conversation on The Shining. That's where I'm at with that.
I don't have an opinion. I've never seen it. So.
We need to watch it sometime.
We do, yes. In this very room.
It's so good.
Okay.
It's so good.
Yeah, we'll watch it.
And don't even let Abe tell you that it's boring or that Kubrick was bored. That's my disclaimer, guys. Just throw out that part as you listen.
So what happened between then and Full Metal Jacket, which is very straightforward?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did Kubrick just get unbored again?
Yeah, I think we can only speculate here, like this guy on the documentary.
Right.
We can only speculate. I mean, Kubrick never wanted to make the same movie twice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you suppose Room 237 is secretly a documentary about people who become so obsessed with the movie that they begin to slowly lose their grip on reality?
I like that idea.
Have you read House of Leaves?
No, I need to, though.
That's...
My sister keeps recommending it.
A big part of, I think, what House of Leaves was trying to do is that very concept.
Okay, where it's about the people that the book's about, but not really. And it's like...
Yeah, it's about analysis, the way that analysis and obsession can lead to its own thing. And
that sounds like fun.
I'm going to say, from my recollection of Room 237, that it is no House of Leaves.
No, but I like that idea that it's not actually about the theories and just about these weirdos with their weird ideas. Which I mean,
it's about the way we get obsessed. It's the way, like academia, the way that pop culture and all that works into it. We read too much into
like this 2-hour film, and we come up with all these crazy ideas,
and you can go crazy as a result of that.
And you can just keep going. You can just not stop if you want.
Yeah, and that's the problem. The movie is too one-note for that.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem. Exactly what I wanted to pin on.
Oh, okay.
It's too one-note. You could have made it really much richer. You could have brought in some film theories and whatever, or you maybe could have filmed those guys. Yeah, those conspiracy theories
in their day-to-day life.
Yes,
like really see how they live, and
or you just could have asked them some questions.
Oh, okay. Try and pin them down.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But it doesn't really do. It doesn't really do. It tries to indulge the conspiracy audience and doesn't want to piss them off. But it also tries to be very intellectual, and it doesn't work.
No, you're right. It is in this gray area where it's just. It doesn't appeal to me on any level. It doesn't appeal to me as a fun conspiracy theory documentary, which could be fun in of its own.
Yes.
Or as a serious piece of film analysis.
Because it doesn't really hit one of those targets, I think.
No, and those are the only two targets it's aiming for.
So yeah, I think that's all I can say about it. I have to check out the other movie they made about sleep paralysis. I think it goes down a different, very similar path. By the same director, yes.
Yeah, it is the same director, yeah.
The Nightmare, Scott.
Well, you can watch that one by yourself.
Yeah.
And you can talk about it with somebody else, I guess. I'm gonna skip that one.
One thing that maybe is, I hope I can enjoy the movie again, The Shining, after seeing this movie. And not feel reminded all the time.
It seems to me that I guess what I take a lot of the symbolism of The Shining for, I guess, because it seems like in that movie, and then just whether you have the Native American stuff or you have a lot of, you could make some Holocaust inferences about some of it. I guess what I took that as primarily is it's to be disorienting, to make you feel uneasy, to be reminded of this sort of like evil lurking, this idea that human nature can be nourishing like the mom, or it can be sort of this evil, overbearing, strangely pain-inducing, and like it can cause all this misery so easily as well. And so I guess that's kind of, I don't analyze it beyond that.
I see all the details as purposely misleading you, but not really misleading. It's more of like there are all these different options as to what could have been going on, and nobody really knows what's going on. Because like if you look at it after all, like if you look at it from the end, and like say someone stumbles onto the hotel and sees what happens, they're going to see all this weird crap. None of it's going to make any sense, and it's just like, it sounds like a bunch of rumors people are spreading around about this family murder that happened in a hotel. It's like, oh, I heard they've buried on a Native American burial ground, and the moon landing, and all this other stuff.
The moon landing, I don't know anything.
I think it's just that one sweater the kid wears. I think everyone just reads so much into that because it has the rocket ship and it says NASA on it. But I mean, you got to understand, kids like rocket ships. That's totally a sweater a kid would wear. I think it really doesn't go any deeper than that. But it's.
Well, I guess where my interpretation also kind of applies is just the idea that Jack Torrance then becomes a part of that picture at the end, and so it's just, he's joining the tradition of people who do bad things for no apparent reason. Yeah. And I think that the destruction of the family because a person can cause all this terror is in itself just a scary concept. Mm-hmm. So to me, I think Kubrick is playing, like you said, like with all these things where you can try to look for all this meaning, you can try to, but it's everything just leads to other. I mean, you're never going to like come across an answer, and I think that's kind of what he's talking about, even just in that interview where he's saying
everybody wants a deeper meaning. But
it's scary because reason doesn't get you very far, which I think that makes so much sense for a horror movie.
Well, and it's scary because all the crazy stuff isn't what gets them. I guess Abe touched on that too. You know what I mean? It's like it's your family that's going to kill you,
that's scary.
Not the ghost. Yeah, and it's
Delbert Grady just tells him to correct the family.
I still love my idea that he sells his soul for a drink.
Well,
because when he starts getting violent after, he's like, "Man, I'd sell my soul for a drink," and a guy just so happens to show up with a drink, and it's like, wow, that seems a little convenient, don't you think?
And I think that the only thing that's the door gets unlocked by Grady. I think that's the one.
That's
really
one of those weird details,
unambiguous supernatural things where you can interpret however you want of what everyone is really seeing. Mm-hmm. Like what does Jack Torrance really see? What could be ambiguous?
Someone told me that they think it's Danny that unlocks the door because he's trying to get his dad killed because he doesn't like his dad.
I don't know.
Maybe like he knows that. What's his name? The guy who comes back. Can't think of his name. Halloran. He knows Halloran's coming back because he was giving him all the psychic vibes to come back. And he knows he's probably going to do something to stop, crazy dad who's trying to kill everybody. So he lets his dad out.
So long as Halloran doesn't just give him ice cream.
Yeah, right.
You're okay.
You like ice cream?
You like ice cream, Doc? So that's The Shining. It makes me want to watch it again.
I'll probably watch it again soon, just with the holidays coming up.
It's the holidays. We gotta watch The Shining. Yeah. We get through D saying he doesn't know if he can ever watch it again.
Yeah, or enjoy it again.
I listened to that conversation, and I think I just want to watch The Shining again. And I'm going to watch Barry Lyndon again sometime soon, too, because that's so good.
We need to go to see The Shining at Alamo on 35mm.
It's playing?
Probably.
Okay.
Last time I saw it on film, it was fantastic. It's just all, like, terrible quality, and, it's all skittering all over the place, and there are lions all over the film, and all this other stuff. It's great. Like, it is the way to watch it.
You don't see much on film in Nebraska.
No. It's so cool that the Alamo does that.
I see, but now we're just the hipsters as we get to this last minute of the show. Yeah. Well, I don't know. People don't watch things on film. Nobody cares.
Well, they don't even know if it's on film anymore. They probably just assume it's all on film. They don't even, like, oh, digital, but it's probably still film, right?
I don't know if they're saying that.
I don't think anybody really thinks about if it's film or not anymore,
Yeah, no one. Well, no,
so,
no one cared.
They wouldn't
ever cared, really.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this has been our show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. That correspondent piece was by Abe Lechner and Stefan D. You can find their stuff at Movies and Stuff or at Supernauts if you want to find more from them. I'm Tom Noblock.
I'm Chris Fago.
We'll be back next week. Enjoy your weekend,
whatever you're doing this weekend.
Whatever you're watching.
Oh, wait, no, this week, because this comes out on Tuesday. Monday.
Yeah. All right, so have a good one, everyone.
Yeah, have a good one.